So we got word from Pam Bondi's Department of Justice that supposedly there actually is no Epstein list. And the MAGA Trumpers are way up in their fifis about it. And before you say, well, Angela, don't exaggerate. Trumpers aren't that upset over finding out that the Epstein list is not going to be released and that the Trump regime is now claiming it doesn't exist at all after saying multiple times that it did. I'll get into that in a second. If you say that I'm exaggerating when I say that Trumpers are having a right temper tantrum, that they've really got their panties in a twist and they're flopping all over the place, I promise you, I'm not exaggerating.
No Epstein list! You're trying to tell me there's no Epstein list? Do you think I'm stupid? You said the list is on my desk, and now you're saying there's no list?
DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now.
Are we okay with people S-ing innocent little girls? Are we okay with it? What a load of crap, dude. What a load of bull crap. And I don't believe it. The deep state is alive. We still have politicians. We still have representatives that should be making
Who's running the government?
For America.
Who's the deep state, sweetie?
They're reporting to someone bigger, more powerful, giving them more money to help their lives instead of the American people's lives. Pam Bondi, you should be ashamed.
Oh my God, he's so close to getting it. He's so close to getting it, y'all. Who do you think, honey bun? Who do you think doesn't want the Epstein files released? Where do you think the deep state is operating? Now, one of the things that Trump promised during his campaign is that he would release the Epstein files. And MAGA really, really cared about that, right? They wanted to see who was on this client list that Epstein had. It was something that was of a very high import for them. And that kind of talk around wanting to protect children from sexual predators has been something that the far right has cared about for quite a while, at least since QAnon, which resulted in Pizzagate and all of these ridiculous conspiracy theories that little children were being taken and harvested for their adrenochrome, which was being given to celebrities to keep them youthful, and that there were these trafficking rings and your kids were getting abducted out of Target parking lots for, you know, sexual exploitation, all of this bullshit conspiracy theory stuff. That all came out of like, we really care about children. We need to protect children. And I could get into a whole other long video about how that really originates out of the satanic panic of the 1980s. And even before, we can go all the way back to medieval Europe, right? And the way that the Jewish community was villainized back then and was accused of stealing children and drinking their blood. Like, this kind of shit goes back to time immemorial, like this guise of protecting the children to justify controlling a populace, to justify utilizing conspiracy theories to manipulate people. Right, this is an age-old tactic, but it springs out of the fact that, like, there are people who abuse children. Statistically, it is going to be a male relative that does it, right? It's going to be their dad, their stepdad, their uncle. It's going to be their pastor. It's going to be their, you know, Cub Scout leader, their neighbor 3 doors down, their youth pastor. It's somebody that they know and have a relationship with who is going to abuse children. And a lot of children in this country are abused. But it is a really good distraction from who actually abuses children. It takes the focus off the actual predators to believe in these conspiracy theories about abduction, about these rings of like Satan worshipers that are abducting and abusing kids, whatever. Satanic panic is a great cover, a great distraction for all of the men who actually abuse little kids. It's much easier to think that there is some mysterious kidnapper who might snatch your child than to look at the fact that it might be your husband or it might be your dad who's doing it to your children. Anyway, I could go down that rabbit hole for quite a while. I have quite a bit in the past. But when we look at the Epstein files, this was a major point for MAGA. They claim they care very much about protecting children from child abuse, from sexual abuse. And so they wanted to know who was on that list, and they wanted justice and retribution, which I always thought was like really wild because Trump and Epstein were like good buddies who partied together. promised that the Epstein files were going to be revealed and there would be justice for these child victims, because there were child victims, right? That was something that was profoundly important to MAGA. And this is one way in which they're actually feeling betrayed by Trump. He can break all kinds of other promises, but the Epstein files, a promise he obviously was going to break, even though Pam Bondi said, oh, I have the Epstein files. I have the list. It's sitting on my desk. It's been sitting on my desk for weeks and I'm just waiting to release it. So now we have MAGA and conservative media and even Elon Musk flipping out.
Caroline, the DOJ and FBI have now concluded there was no Jeffrey Epstein client list. What do you tell MAGA supporters who say they want anyone involved in Jeffrey Epstein's alleged crimes to be held accountable?
This administration wants anyone who has ever committed a crime to be held accountable, and I would argue this administration has done more to lock up bad guys than certainly the previous administration.
So what happened to the Epstein client list that the Attorney General said she had on her desk?
Well, I think if you go back and look at what the Attorney General said in that interview, which was on your network, on Fox News.
I've got the quote.
Go ahead.
John Roberts said, DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen? And she said, it's sitting on my desk right now to review.
Yes, she was
What?
saying the entirety of all of the paperwork, all of the paper in relation to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. That's what the Attorney General was referring to, and I'll let her speak for that. But again...
Yeah, okay. Sure thing, sweetheart. I know this is the first job you've ever had in your entire life, KKK Caroline, but wow, that was a masterful job handling that. Again, it's not just the right-wing media that is real fucking pissed about this. It's not just MAGA who's real pissed about this. Elon Musk is not a happy camper. I'm actually really enjoying the messy, sloppy, nasty breakup of Donald Trump and Elon Musk. You know, Elon Musk is threatening to form a third political party and try and fuck shit up for the Republicans in the midterms, and I would love to see that. Go ahead and don't think that'll get you off the hook for the way that your gutting of USAID is killing 14 million people, mostly little children. We won't forget that you're a eugenicist and that you have started a Holocaust. But you go ahead and try and spoil the Republicans in the midterms. So Elon had a little bit of a nuclear meltdown over this on Twitter in the wee hours. He was really having a hard time managing his feelings. But again, he insinuated that Trump's name was on the list, so why did he think it would ever be released? He had to know that this was going to be the outcome. This person tweeted, what happened to the client list is on my desk. What happened to the Epstein files part 2? What happened to those magical binders? What a farce. Elon tweeted at 12:17 in the morning, this is the final straw. Some real emotional dysregulation. I ask all the time, like, when is going to be the final straw for most MAGA? When is it going to be a bridge too far? I would be surprised if it was the Epstein list, but maybe for some of them, they will finally realize that there is no deep state that is being run by the Democrats. There's the oligarchy, of which Donald Trump is a part. There is the corrupt grift of Donald Trump. This party doesn't care about working class people. They certainly don't care about protecting your daughters. They certainly don't care about justice. But I certainly am enjoying watching everybody melt down over what we knew was going to be inevitable. A corrupt regime making sure that there is no justice for those who deserve it, making sure that they protect their cronies and their own interest. That's who MAGA is, y'all. That's what Trumpers voted for. They really thought that their dear leader cared about their Christian family values and cared about the things that they cared about. They're going to find out little by little, maybe this is the beginning of them finding out that they've been hoodwinked.